WWE Smackdown in 3 minutes. Ronda Rousey comes down to the ring and she cuts a very decent promo actually. She gets a lot of stick, but this felt like it was real, it felt relatable. She just felt like a great person and a good mother. Out comes Charlotte Flair being a shit-eating heel this year. She does that role really well. And then Sonya Deville jumps Ronda Rousey from behind. Just a little device to set up, of course, next week, Sonya Deville versus Ronda Rousey, where you assume Sonya Deville will finally get a comeuppance to an extent. Los Lotharios versus New Day. There's nothing wrong with a match. The problem is I've seen it 55,000 fucking times now. And they're like, ooh, rubber match and all that. And it's like, dude, just, this is why people are tuning out. Because we don't want to watch the same match week in, week out. Give us something fresh. Give us something new. There's nothing wrong with these tag teams. But it feels like the New Day are stuck in this infernal, boring loop. And people are starting to lose interest. It's not helped by the fact that New Day get one up on them as well. Los Lotharios feel like they're the fresh, new, exciting thing, but if they're going to continuously lose and perpetually lose really important matches to guys like the New Day, I'm not really going to pay attention. Xia Li makes her long-awaited debut on SmackDown. The enforcer, the caregiver, whatever the fuck they're calling her, terrible name, I don't care. So she wrestles Natalya. There's a way to get somebody over by having them wrestle literally the most boring person on the roster. Natalya, a woman so boring that her gimmick is now that she is a Guinness World Record holder. No idea. Xia Li picks up the win, reasonably impressive. The problem is, I've seen Natalya lose in 3.17 seconds to a rookie. So why am I supposed to be impressed that Xia Li can beat her in about 5 to 10 minutes? I'm not. By the way, shout out to the crowd for chanting Hershey's chocolate, because they're in Pennsylvania, and because Natalya slagged them off in a heel promo. Sami Zayn comes out to brag about being the brand new Intercontinental Champion. This, of course, then brings out Jackass star Johnny Knoxville. He's obviously not done. He said, hey, you crashed my premiere, so I'm going to crash yours. Sami Zayn gets the jump on him and hits him twice with a haluva kick, leaves him laying. We're obviously building to some sort of match at WrestleMania. That's cool. I don't personally care, but it is good for the marquee. Sasha Banks. Remember her? This is apparently the first time we've seen her since the Royal Rumble, and she's wrestling Shotzi Blackheart. She dispatches her while Naomi's on commentary, and we're all like, why is Naomi on commentary? Because I love Naomi, but she's fucking terrible on commentary. Then she gets in the ring, gets on the mic, she's terrible on the mic too, and says, guess who's the new tag team? Guess who's going to be your next Women's Tag Team Champions? Us two. Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss. Next! It's your main event time, and it's a contract signing for the biggest main event, apparently, in the history of wrestling and the history of WrestleMania. That's open for discussion. By the way, calling your pay-per-view stupendous? Terrible. Whoever thought that was a good idea in this modern era is quite literally a fucking goober. As is always the case, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar steal the show. Just because they feel big time and everyone else doesn't. They come out, the contract signing is simple. Roman Reigns goes off like no one's business on the mic. Roman Reigns is fantastic. Sorry, but he is. Cry me a river if you don't like him. Alright, he gets forced down your throat a little bit too much, but you can't argue that this is by far and away the most interesting and best iteration of Roman Reigns. Brock Lesnar goes absolutely radio rental and murders a load of security guards with a table. The whole segment went off so well, and very much like Brock Lesnar matches, it didn't last too long, but it was an absolute violent L1 parade of clusterfuck, and that's exactly what it should be when it involves these two men. This is the only thing I'm really hyped for so far for WrestleMania, other than, of course, the impending return of Stone Cold Steve Austin. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is 3 minutes of WWE Smackdown. Pretty boring show. Tell you what, just fast forward to the end, watch the final bit with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, watch Lesnar smash everybody up with a table, and then crack on with your weekend. Please don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, that on a very serious note, Ukraine is fighting for their lives and they are fighting for their democracy and their freedom, and I'd like to think if we were in a position, we would do exactly the same. So spare a thought for Ukraine. If you can, please donate to one of the many charities that are working hard to provide arms and, most importantly, to provide support for the people who have been displaced, including the refugees in Ukraine. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you very soon for more content from the Wrestle Plug.